So, good morning, everyone. I've been recording for a little while, but I'm not sure that it was recording. I don't have a crew here. This is Sunday, so it's hard for me to tell if this is recording. So I would like to address your questions here, see if I can't halfway catch up with you. I've been so busy, so it's good to be with you today here. Jennifer came in today too. A lot of work to get caught up on. I wanted to address this one YouTube individual here that wrote in a good question. And this is Lissa. And Lissa, here we go in April, she's 100% fruit and herbs. She threw up black mucus. She saw a little sediment. She saw some sulfur coming out of her. She needed less sleep. The appetite was gone. She was kicking butt. And then she cheated, and she didn't feel any pain in her liver or right kidney, which is excellent. You don't want it when you cheat to feel pain, because that means you're not getting into those tissues enough and working on it. So the fact that you cheated and you didn't feel any pain in those areas, bravo, bravo. She got some liver tumors she's trying to get rid of. Well, you'll get rid of them. You got to move lymph, and that's just what you're doing here. In March, she took a 180. Now she's craving everything under the sun and things from the past. And I've told you about my experience with the Twinkies and the peanut butter patties, whatever, the Reese's patties, during a fast. You know, it's well known that foods leave chemical residues in the body. And of course, these are magnetic residues that carry the flavors and vibrations of the food. So you're digging into your body deeply and pulling up these residues from the past, and it's making you crave them again. And it's just an old thing in detox that we understand that can happen as you dig in and you start pulling up some of these chemical residues. That is a good indication, though, that you are digging in and pulling up these old toxins and stuff out of the body. Plus, you could reach in and grab new fungal beds, and that's going to make you start craving the carbohydrates and cheeses and sugars again. I think you need 5 gold stars, Lissa. I think you've done really well, my dear. Keep digging it. Get yourself straight. Keep pulling yourself straight. This is truly where self-discipline does enter the realm here. I hope we're all hooked in here and we can record down the line here. I wanted to address this individual because of some of the things that was said here. And generally, I'd like to pass this over and go on down the line because there's gotten a little bit too far on this glandular issue. But this is from Anorchore, A-N-A-R-C-H-O-R-E. And yes, I appreciate that. You know, there was a time in my life I was well, I'd call a purist. That is someone who really just kind of like this kind of thinking. You don't want to hurt the animals, but a true purist doesn't want to hurt the vegetables or the plants either. You know, when you take a look at this is why fruitarian was conceived. In one little way is the concept, even in India. That would be an insult to Indians as well in terms of hurting plants, considering plants less than animals. Be honest with you, creation's just a bunch of atoms, not really real in the first place. So a lot of this Puritan viewpoint is a viewpoint that's trapped into this idea that Earth is something more than it is. Earth is a very violent place. This is a warring planet, beautiful on one hand and violent as you can get on the other. You talk about deaths. Look at what the poor animals have to deal with and in nature. It is as beautiful as it is violent. Some of your beautiful National Geographic movies are just incredible, and these beautiful seals and everything. And the next thing you see a big bite out of there. Granted, these people are living off the meat to survive. Well, you could probably ask Ted Nugent the same type of thing. You could probably talk and have an argument with all levels on here. So I could get to the level to say that this is why we only have hands to pick and peel. We don't have anything that actually can do harm to anything unless we design a tool like a gun or a knife or a bow and arrow that does harm. I think the only reason man got into animal eating in the first place was moving into northern climates. Tropical, probably fish eating, who knows? It's all crap. But I'd like to think that we can evolve to a higher order of thinking. So one of your comments you made where I feel guilty about using glandulars, I don't feel guilty at all about using a glandular. I don't have that purist viewpoint that if you eat meat, you're not going to be spiritually evolved or some crap like that, because none of that has any factual. That's a lot of Hindu and Buddhist thinking where, you've got to be very, very pure in that way. There's no question that meat has a very negative vibration to it, and you can feel it in you, and it's, not that good. But I've used glandulars myself, to be honest with you, in times of real need. And I just don't have that same type of thinking that some purists do anymore. I used to. I used to be real purist. I went through probably a million different phases until I was pulled around it beyond creation and had to look at creation from a different point of view. And then I realized creation is nothing but a movie. There's nothing really real. In every animal, plant, person, or thing, all you see is the movement of atoms in their bodies. Reality is consciousness, and you can't kill consciousness. So this is a purist idea of this. First of all, and the second thing, you made a misstatement here. Plants do not have generalized consciousness. I've been blessed with the gift of communicating with plants, and I can tell you they're as individual as you are. They have their minds, they have their memories, and they have their emotions. So you've not just experienced that level for you to say that, because it's not true. There's all levels of states of consciousness out there. Animals are just one level of state of consciousness. Actually, in man is where some of the religions claim you start to get self-awareness. And so you can take that as you will, of course, as you see the development of the mental and emotional faculties in creation. You'll see the higher evolved beings, yet at the same time, my dog can give me more love than most humans. And that's where the problem comes in. But I look at that dog as a soul. I look at that dog as consciousness and wearing a physical body. If I communicate with the physical body and don't understand the who's in that body, then I'm unaware. And so I just wanted to communicate with you, my friend, that no, I have no problems at all using glandulars. I don't carry the purest point of view anymore. Impractical, unreal, first of all, because creation is what it is. It's just a bunch of whirling atoms. The only thing that makes creation real is you. You. Now, it's funny. The closer to God that you experience, the more alone, the more individual things truly are. Not from the id point of view, but from consciousness point of view, because there's not many gods, there's only one God at the most highest level. So there's so much ideas and concepts out there that's why I say the same thing in health. You can only work on yourself. You got to be careful about having ideas and opinions and things like that, because I try not to even have opinions. I do. I know you guys ask me a lot about my opinions, but I really try not to have too many things that limits allness, that limits your ability to see and comprehend truth. Anytime you have a belief in something, you've just limited your ability to see truth. And there's things you come to know, things you see, but there's always a higher level behind you that's above you, that's seeing beyond what you're seeing, and that's where I want to be. I want to be at the highest of high, where I don't have these limitations and these shortcomings where you can't see truth. That's all I care about is the Supreme Being and living there. I was sent here to do this, and I'm doing it, and bye bye. I mean, this is just creation. This is a television set, and if you get too into the drama, of course, there's a couple of soaps I like. I'm beginning to like that Revenge. Oh man, something else. This is a great testimony. This is Rita in the UK. She is having an amazing time. 1 week, yes, she's 1 week without pain. I have to tell you, Rita, this is great work on yourself, sweetheart. You've just really done well. I think we need to leave some of this controversy about opinions on things. If one doesn't want to do glandulars, okay. I don't care. I really don't. But when I'm after people like Rita here, I'm going after them and to make them, help them get well. I mean, that's what I'm here for, and I don't see creation the same way as someone lost in it sees it. She's been 1 week without pain free. Wow, this is incredible. Keep moving. You keep moving. You keep pushing that door until you're so pain free, no matter what you eat, that pain does not return whatsoever, and you've got it. In the last 6 years, I've never been pain-free in the last 6 years. Makes me want to cry. This is why I do this. It is exactly this testimony right here is an incredible testimony to show you the power of this level of healing. So this is where we should be and work from this level of healing. We were looking at maltodextrin as opposed to MSG because the thought was maltodextrin is just another word for MSG. But now, good distinction: plants, general; humans, individual. That's not true. Again, this is reforced for fertility. I think your beef comes from meat lovers defensively pointing the finger back at vegans, saying like, "But you kill carrots." You know, the whole thing is there's definitely pure forms of energetics. Everything is at their levels. And if you said animals were higher evolved than plants, then why do you feel so unhealthy and get unhealthy when you eat them as opposed to eating plants? I mean, you can get into all kinds of kind of philosophies and idealisms and things like this. Because it is true, the further away from eating dead tissue, the healthier you are. But you can go ahead and eat plant tissue. Again, the argument has been well raised in India about the higher level of consuming fruit as opposed to other foods because it doesn't harm anyone. But then when I walk across the grass or I cut the grass, I'm going, ooh, cutting some heads off here. Or I cut branches off a tree. You know, blah, 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 blah. The bottom line is nothing here physically is real. It appears real only because consciousness moves the atoms. And when atoms in flux, then you start to see activity and the movement between two poles, positive and negative. And in reality, if you look at God, that sits at the individualized pole and social consciousness at the negative pole. The more social consciousness exists, the more laws that exist, the more fear that exists, etc., the more lost you get. God is at the individual side of consciousness. And and I can tell you, plants are very individual. A lot of studies done on plants. Get the book Secret Life of Plants by Christopher Bird and Tom Tompkins. Fascinating book back in the 70s. It's The Secret Life of Plants. Christopher Bird, Tom Tompkins. But still, it just shows you the awareness plants have. Not only do they see you, they remember who you are. They feel you. They feel your presence. I've loved plants a long time. Living in the woods, I became very close to a lot of plants. So you can think what you